Guys, it's your boy Mr. Fit to Flourish. Today I wanted to talk about the formula for success. And the formula of success, I'm going to give it straight up to you. The formula for success is physical input plus mental input plus 1 over L is equal to your desired outcome. Now, what is L? 1 over L. L is your self-imposed limitations. Okay, self-imposed limitations. Okay, and 1 over L is equal to your non-resistance. So as long as you're allowing things to take place and you don't place any limits on yourself, then you can get to your desired outcome a lot quicker. Now, the formula is up on the screen so you can take a look at it. Now, the bigger the limitations you place on yourself, then the harder it is going to be to get to your desired outcome. But the smaller limitations, which means the less limitations that you put on yourself, the easier it is going to be to get to your desired outcome. So I'm going to show it on the screen here, how to get to there and different ways to get to there. But basically, the more physical exertion that you put out there, of course, it's going to lead to your desired outcome. But it's going to take a lot of effort. You're going to have to increase that physical input quite a bit to get to that desired outcome. Now, if you don't want to work as hard physically, you can think of a master plan. So that's where you're going to have to increase your mental output. Okay? Your mental output. So you have this genius plan. You create a company called Apple. You create wireless cell phones. And you don't put in so much physical effort. You kind of outsource everything. But you created this master plan. And now you're going to get to that desired outcome, right? To get that $1 bajillion or whatever. But if you want to decrease both your mental output, you're so tired of thinking and thinking and thinking. You're so tired of putting in the work, building these construction sites, and really not getting paid for it or not getting that outcome you desire. Well, all you're going to have to do is decrease the limitations that you're putting on yourself. Okay, so what does that mean? That means whatever that desired outcome is, so let's say you just want $1 million, right? The limits that you're putting on yourself is a one-track mind of, I can only get to this desired outcome only if I do this. So that's a self-imposed limitation. You're putting a huge limit on yourself. So I'm going to show you in the formula here, 1 over L. If you put a huge limit, 1 over a million, then it's going to be, that number is going to be 0.000001. Okay, so you won't get to that desired outcome. Okay, so to get to where you want to be, it's always going to be that physical input, the mental input, and the limits that you place on yourself. That's always going to add up to what your or to getting to your desired outcome. All right. And another way to put this formula is desire plus non-resistance equals desired outcome. Okay, and that comes from Michael Bayer, a YouTuber that I like to watch, kind of like a spiritual guide type of guy. But at the end of the day, desire plus non-resistance equals desired outcome. All right, and that desire portion is a lot of the time going to be reflected by your mental input and your physical input, because you're trying to get towards that desire. But you have to understand that you're creating your own reality. So if you say that the only way that I can get to point B from point A is this straight line, okay, this straight path, that's the only way that I can get to that end over there. Okay, then that limit you put on yourself requires that this life that you created, this reality you created, only has one road, okay, one path. So again, you're placing a huge limitation on yourself, and you're causing it to be harder to get to your desired outcome. But if you say that you can take a detour, or you can magically something will align when you let go of the resistance. There will be a way that you get there. Then there will be a way that you get there. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of reflect on that and talk about like my life in general. I thought the only way to get to $1 million bajillion dollars was, okay, I gotta go to the NFL, be a football player, go to the NFL. And I was like working so hard physically, mentally, and I was putting this huge limit on myself, 1/L. So that L was huge. Okay. So there was almost no way that I would get to my desired outcome because I was just forcing it and forcing it and forcing it. And I wasn't allowing life to unfold in a magical way, as it usually does. Okay, life usually unfolds in a magical way because at the end of the day, the purpose of life is to grow. And what we're growing it into is we're growing into the understanding that we are gods. We are all part of the same experience that people call Allah, God, universe. We're all part of this one experience. We are all one and the same, experiencing ourselves through different perspectives. So that the guy named John might be talking to me as Fit, but I'm also John. But I'm just, it's the only way that we can experience self through different perspectives. Okay, I'm experiencing myself as a tree. That tree is experiencing me as Fit. Okay, so all of this is just experience and growth through understanding that we have no limits. Okay, we have no limits. All right, and a lot of people are struggling in life because they are not understanding that we have no limits. I like in Mean Girls when Lindsay Lohan says, "The limit does not exist." I need to post that right here. The limit does not exist. But we're growing into the understanding that there is no limit. And the more and more that we're building these computers and AI models, and the more that we learn, the more that we're coming to the understanding that, oh, wow, well, this universe actually might be a simulation. Okay. And the point of the simulation is, again, to grow into the understanding that you have no limits. Because what you believe will always become the outcome, will always be the outcome that you get. What you believe is always going to be equivalent to the outcome that you get. Okay? I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson who said, whether you believe that you can or you believe that you can't, you will always be correct. So if you believe that you can, it's going to happen because your belief is what's going to manifest. If you believe that you can't, then that's what's going to happen because your belief in the end will always manifest. Okay. So I just wanted to drop this video real quick and kind of share this formula for those people out there who are struggling. Maybe you're putting a lot of mental input in and you're like, all right, I'm done with the physical. You're putting a lot of this mental strain, but you're placing a huge limit on yourself. And you're saying that this formula can only be solved this way, okay? So your 1/L, your L is really large. Minimize that L, okay? And you'll get a really big number. And that really big number is gonna allow you to get to your desired outcome. That really big number is gonna equal that desired outcome. Minimize your limits. There is no limit, okay? You need to expand your beliefs, okay? Your desired outcome is inversely related to the limits that you're placing on yourself. Okay. Your limits that you're placing on yourself. And your desired outcome is always going to be directly proportional to the amount of non-resistance that you have, which means that your limits are going to always be inversely related to the resistance that you have, the non-resistance that you have, okay? So the less limits you place on yourself, the more non-resistance you're gonna have, which is gonna allow you to sail into that desired outcome. Now, how do we use this? How do we apply this? How do we use this in general in life? All right. Well, so let's say you have this desire to become a CEO, okay, or an entrepreneur. Well, you need to do something every day. You've got to do something every day that puts you in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, putting you in the feeling of, hey, I'm doing the things that I believe that I would be doing if I were already the person that I would want to be. I feel good, and I feel as if I'm on the right path. All right. So in every single moment, you need to be in that feeling of, hey, it's already done. And I talk about in some other videos that this is the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of faith, okay, and not the feeling of fear. As long as you're in that fear state, then you are in the state of believing that there are limits, believing that it is not possible, believing that you can't. But if you're in that feeling of faith, you're like, hey, it's already taken care of. Universe is taking care of it. There are no limits. Everything that I'm doing today is taking me to exactly where I want to be. And remember to continue to move in the direction of your desire. Okay. So for instance, what does that look like for me? Well, you've been seeing the videos here. What do I want to do? I want to be an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. I'm also a doctor of pharmacy. But essentially, I want to be someone who is well respected and someone who teaches and makes a lot of money. All right. But essentially, I want to be a successful entrepreneur. So what am I doing every day? Well, physically, I'm putting in the work that is required of myself to be healthy. Because I need to be healthy in order to live long, right? And as long as I'm healthy, then my mental clarity will always be there. I'll always have that mental clarity, okay? People will also take me serious. And I feel good when I work out. When I work out, I feel as if I'm accomplishing something. Because what it's doing is it's giving me that discipline. That discipline to endure the process, no matter how hard or how long it may be. Right? What else am I doing? I'm meeting new people. And because I'm in this state of, I feel as if I'm in the right direction. Because I feel like that, the people I meet are always entrepreneurs or other wealthy people or people who are aligned with my life path, basically. I'm not running into those people anymore who are getting into trouble or trying to turn up all the time. I'm not running into those people anymore because I've aligned myself with my desired outcome, okay? And I haven't placed any limits on myself. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to only go to a coffee shop to meet these people. I'm going to go to these different events, and I'm not placing any limits on myself. I'm allowing myself to go out and meet new people, do new things, because universe, whatever universe is communicating to me, it's saying, hey, go do these things. Feel free. Don't place any limits on yourself. It will always guide you to exactly where you need to be. So I want to end this video by saying, again, physical input plus mental input plus 1/L, okay, which is the limit, the self-imposed limits, the self-imposed beliefs, that is going to equal your desired outcome. So as long as you know that this is the formula, you can always adjust one or the other or all three of them to easily get to exactly where you want to be. It's your boy, Mr. 50 Flourish, and I'm out.